Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited to show you exactly how I made this Easter wreath made with supplies completely from Dollar Tree. Let's start with an overview of what you're going to need to put your wreath together. First off, I'm going to start with this pool noodle, just a regular old Dollar Tree pool noodle. I do recommend this kind of yellow-green color. It really worked well back in behind the flowers once you got it up on the thing. I also used several tools. Two of them are here, just some scissors, these like little wire cutters, and I also used a kitchen knife. I also got this like egg, I think it's kind of like a yard stake of some sort, and then we're going to spray paint it with this silver spray paint, just normal spray paint. I also picked up these white flowers at Dollar Tree. I got 15 bunches of just variety of just white flowers. I wanted my wreath to be all white, so I just got this grouping of white flowers. Let's start with the hula hoop. I'm going to go ahead and remove the tag and look for the area where it looks like you can maybe untape it. This is just a sticker that's on top of the hula hoop, so I'm just going to peel off the thing, and it's kind of coming in little pieces, which is frustrating. So just use your scissors, pull, peel, and you can see it doesn't take very much, and you can find the little connector area, and I'm going to go ahead and pull it apart and show you kind of what it looks like. So this is just like a little connector that connects the little tubing together. So I'm going to move this around and get out the little beads that make the noise of the hula hoop. And sorry you can't always see that. I'm just trying to get these beads out, dumping them. But I always wondered what was in a hula hoop, and it's just these like little rock things. It's kind of interesting. I'm not sure, but that's just trash. So now I'm just going to take this hula hoop and just see if I can start peeling away. I have to get my scissors, I think. Yeah, I'm going to have to get the scissors. I can't get this off. Yeah, I'm giving up. Here we go. I think I've got it. If I can just get this to start. Let me see if I can dig in a little more. You can kind of see it. Let's see. See, I'm having to kind of cut the sticker. It's not really coming real easily, but I think if I can get it started, it'll really get going. Yeah, see, once you get it started, it kind of has an overlap on one. It's like the sticker kind of has an overlap, and where the middle kind of comes apart, if you'll kind of tug in the opposite direction, it gets kind of stuck. I'm going to have to cut some of this off. Just keep pulling opposite of where it comes apart, and this actually comes off super easily and super cleanly. I'm very surprised at how easy and clean this is once the sticker comes off. I've never removed a sticker before, so yeah, I just can't believe how good this turned out. It's like the perfect color and everything. So okay, I'm gonna move my trash aside and connect this back together. The next thing we're going to do is grab our pool noodle and this kitchen knife, and we're going to try to cut our foam. I'm going to use this foam to cover where that little connection is, kind of up towards the top. So I'm just eyeballing this to see what I want and just cutting right through, straight down on that foam. I'm so surprised at how clean this cuts and how easily it cut. And then I'm going to kind of eyeball the bottom one. And yeah, it's about half or less. And then let's just slice through this one. And really, that's all you need to do to cut your pool noodle and to get it ready. Now you're going to open up the hula hoop, and we're going to take these pool noodle foam pieces and just thread them right onto the hula hoop itself. The foam pieces are straight and the hula hoop's obviously curved, so it takes just a little bit of effort to kind of push it in there, but it goes pretty easily. Then go ahead and close up your hula hoop, and let's slide the foam over to hide that connection piece. It's time to grab your white flowers and your wire cutters so that we can get these flowers cut so we can start putting them on the wreath. I'm sort of separating them here just by which flowers look alike, so that it makes it easier to kind of put them on in a more uniform fashion. So I'm just going to get the tag cut off of each one, And then I'm just going to take these wire snips, and I'm actually going to try to make these flowers as long as possible. I feel like you can always, cut them later if you need to, but you can't add length to them if you need. So I'm just going to cut these all and see, let me get them all cut, and then we'll see how they fit on the wreath. Okay, I'm going to try a couple just to see how they're fitting. It's going in like butter, but that one's a little long, so I'm kind of snipping this one off. That's about the size of my hand. Let's see if these kind of fit in a little bit better. Oh, I really like that size. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all the rest of these, I think, down. Like I said, you can always cut off, but you can't add. So let me get the rest of these cut off, and kind of go through the same thing, just cutting them with the tag, and then cutting them off, just going bunch by bunch. And if you notice, I'm sliding the little leaf all the way, or not all the way, but most of the way up to the flower. That way I'm kind of preserving that greenery, so I don't have to add any greenery to this. I'm trying really hard to stick straight with Dollar Tree items, and I don't feel like Dollar Tree at the current moment has any great greenery, especially that would go with this. So get it slid up to the top and get your flowers cut, and once you do, then it becomes a very fast process to begin to put your flowers on. You can see I have a bunch of this little trash. Don't know what I'm going to do with it, but throw it away and let's get started putting flowers on. I'm going to start with these kind of smaller ones that I had started with originally, and I'm just and then I'm going to use this bigger one at the end to kind of hide the end, but I'm just going to kind of put them on quasi-random, but kind of to fill it in, just so I kind of have a balance of what I want to do. And then I'm just going to keep filling and keep filling. There's really no good rhyme or reason other than you notice I'm keeping them all going in the same general direction. They're all going from basically the right to the left, which would be around the wreath. I think that just makes it look a little bit better in general if they're all kind of somewhat going in the right direction. And I'm trying to balance out the big flowers so that I don't get them bunched up in one area or another. And it's not always perfect or easy, but you can just see they're still kind of flowing in one general direction. And I'm going to continue to fill, and I'm going to continue to trim as necessary, and just put these flowers, just kind of fill in the gaps and continue to turn it and look, and you can see that pool noodle through there, and just continue to try to find new areas to cover. I've pretty well got most of it covered. You can see I still have a few gaps, so I'm going to kind of pick it up and turn it around and kind of visualize where some of the gaps might be and see if I can't get them filled in with some of the flowers that I have still cut. I just want to get a pretty good coverage. I mean, the good news is that pool noodle doesn't show through very well, so if you have a few gaps, it's not going to make as big a deal as if you use a different color. But I do have some little holes that I need filled, and so I'm going to just keep kind of filling those holes up the best I can. And to make this is the top area, just to kind of make sure it's completely full and completely the way that I want it to look. And I just keep turning it and putting in more flowers and making it filled. And you can just see, just as I see gaps, as I see little areas, I can just take what I have left over and just kind of fill it. Okay, so now I'm going to start down here at the bottom, and I'm going to get the same flowers that I had from the top and get them prepared and get them cut down just like I did on the top, and begin to just put them in. I'm starting here with the bigger flowers again, or I'm sorry, for the ends, to cover the ends, and then with the bigger flowers, and just again putting them in, kind of going the same way around the wreath, to kind of give it more of a flow. It makes your eye go around the wreath, and just fill in as necessary. There's really not anything I can say other than I work in triangles. I don't like things to be straight across from one another. I like them to be kind of in a triangular passion from one, or like in a more diagonal line from one another, and then just basically placing and just seeing what looks right, and just continue to kind of put them on there, and does that look right, and placing them. And really there's nothing more I'm doing but that right there, and I'm going to keep doing this to fill in the bottom. Just continue taking your flowers and putting them through there. I am pulling my wreath up and down to make sure that I can get any areas that I might not see that I would see when my wreath is upright. These ends have been a little bit hard to cover, but you do want to make sure that you try to get it covered pretty well, because you will see the bottom easier than you'll see the top. And you're also going to have the egg down here, so you want to make sure it's decently full. So I'm going to flip it over. I have a couple of things that poked through I need to cut off, and just kind of make sure that I have it all filled in. I've got a little gap I want to try to fill, I think. So let me add this one more flower to it. And we are going to spray paint this egg. So I'm going to get it prepared and painted, and I'll be back in just a little bit. So I got my egg all spray painted, and I thought it turned out really well. I was actually super pleased. I'm actually going to try to see kind of where I want this to be placed, how I want it to look when it's upright, and kind of just eyeball it, measure it, see where I want it. Then I'm going to flip this over and begin to try to poke this down in there. And it's not really going to poke through. This pool noodle's a little bit tougher than I gave it credit for. So I'm just going to get like a kitchen knife and see if I can't kind of poke down through, kind of get it started. And honestly, I'm just going to tell you, this process was just I wouldn't say tedious. It just was more of a cut and push and see where you wanted it. And so once I got it kind of started, it went in okay, but you just really kind of had to push it on through. And I probably should have got like a paring knife kind of knife and cut more, but it went through decently. But you're really going to have to push it down into the pool noodle, so you're going to want to cut more of it with your knife. I'm not sure the technique I used here is the best technique, but it certainly did work. But you do need to get it on down in your pool noodle quite a ways. And it took a little bit of just cutting, pushing, manipulating, and just eyeballing. And you can just see, just kind of keep pushing it down in there, cutting it a little more. I didn't want to cut the pool noodle too much, or my Easter egg was just flopping around. But I will tell you, if I were to do it again, I probably would cut the pool noodle a little more and just use a little bit of super glue to secure it, rather than trying to use the pool noodle by itself to secure it. So definitely, I didn't add that to your list, but if you want to secure that a little better, I would go ahead and cut the pool noodle more and use super glue to really secure it back in there. But eventually it goes, and this is how it turns out when it's up on the wall. I am so excited how this turned out. It's actually hanging on a mirror in my formal dining room, and I love how the sun shines in on it, and it just looks so pretty. And just remember, this is all stuff that came from Dollar Tree. The only thing that was not from Dollar Tree was the tools and the spray paint, but everything else, the greenery, the hula hoop, the egg, all Dollar Tree. It cost me $18 plus paint to make this beautiful wreath, and I couldn't be more excited. Thanks for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you guys again. Bye.